To give Jehovah their best, some of our brothers give up lucrative and prestigious careers. Making this decision may take time and patience, as we'll see in our first video.
I played in the Series A, which is the top league in Italy. I was on the national youth team, and I went all the way up to the men's national team. Just the fact that you are good at your job is gratifying. And then there is also the financial aspect. My mom and dad were Jehovah's Witnesses, and so was my older brother. At a certain point, I felt conflicted, especially when I decided to draw closer to the truth. It was no longer a family thing. In time, something started to develop in me, a fire, a small fire. Gradually, I came to the point of dedication to Jehovah, although I still played. But maybe, not maybe, definitely, I wasn't giving Jehovah my best, my energy. I was fitting my spiritual life around my work life, and not the other way around. I excused myself saying, I'm just working, it's a profession. Yes, it's time-consuming, but of short duration because athletes retire earlier. I started in 1995 and continued until April 2008, when I played my last match. I, let's say, made a cut and quit playing basketball. I'm glad I made it. Sometimes I say to myself, if only you had done it earlier, if only you had had the courage earlier.
Samuele said he'd wished he had given up basketball earlier to pursue spiritual goals. From that, we learned that decisions to spend time on personal interest take away from time we should give to Jehovah. The sooner we appreciate Jehovah's patience, the sooner we enjoy the blessings which make us truly rich. We're happy that Jehovah exercised patience with Brother Podesta and helped him to regain his balance. If you're facing a career decision, be assured that when we focus first on serving Jehovah and teaching others His Word, we're happier.
I found this testimony in the November 2022 JW Broadcasting episode infuriating. The only thing I'm glad about is that it's not about football. Usually, when they drag someone on camera to talk about how brilliant it is that they spurned a career in sports or didn't fulfill their potential, they put the organization first. Usually, if it's sports related, it's about football or soccer, as Americans tend to call it. I'm really, really glad that just for once, they're doing this about a different sport. This time, it's basketball. But apart from that, it's exactly the same narrative. Someone gives up their potential as an athlete, or as, frankly, someone who's famous, because that's what this is about, in favor of an organization that needs its followers to live unremarkable lives. That's all this is about. Because the guy was a professional basketball player. That's a profession. That's a job. And by the way, it was his job for 14 years. So from 1995 to 2008, he had a 14-year career as a basketball player. He quit more or less when his career was winding down anyway. But all that aside, what was the problem with him being a professional basketball player? He may have enjoyed basketball as well. It's okay to do something that you like and be paid for it. I'm sure most of us would agree that that's in fact kind of what you should aim for. There's no shame in actually enjoying the thing that people are paying you money to do. In this case, it's basketball. But the problem was not that this conflicted with his worship, although that's what we're expected to swallow. The problem was the fame and the prestige. And oh no, someone might have a name for themselves. Someone might be well known who isn't a governing body member. They're the only ones who get to be famous, who get to have some prestige, apparently. Tony Morris, David Splain, Stephen Lett. Those are the men who get to be prestigious. To some degree, William Turner and the rest of the governing body helpers. But if you're a rank and file member, you'd better not be famous. I actually think this is one area in which the Mormons show a little bit more reasonableness. And I'm speaking as someone who's never been an LDS church member, although I did briefly study with them. But I find it interesting that you can be a Mormon and you can, for example, be in a rock band, because Brandon Flowers from The Killers, he is Mormon. And he hasn't been, to my knowledge, excommunicated or anything. So that's one area of a few, I would suggest, in which the LDS Church shows itself to be at least a little bit more reasonable. But with Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't just demand control over you in terms of micromanaging your life. They insist on you making it impossible for yourself to basically get any sort of fame or recognition. That sort of thing is reserved only for the governing body.